Well, I don't even know what to say at this point anymore. We wanted hope. We wanted something positive to look forward to each and every week. Like you would show up with a game plan, like you would show up and you actually look like you've prepared for a football game. 10 days. They had 10 days to get this thing right. Are you kidding me? What exactly is going on right now that this team looks like they have absolutely zero prep each and every week? And even when things go right for like a minute or two, they have no idea how to stay ahead of the wave. This was an absolute disaster against the Vegas Raiders, without even a doubt. Las Vegas has clearly moved on from all that interior stuff, that nonsense that was left by John Gruden. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles don't even have an identity to move on from. Negative, positive, what have you. They don't have an offense. Nobody can even identify what this offense is. Jonathan Gannon continues to look like he's in over his head. It's the same thing each and every week. How offenses, I'm all twisted, continue to attack Jonathan Gannon's defense. And I know that the Super Bowl hopes or playoff hopes are cut. That's not what this is about. It's just general hope. Forget big game hopes. Forget playoff hopes. Just general hope. Why do you look like each and every single week you have no idea what you're doing? How is that possible? It's not just a bunch of young kids on this team. There's some veterans on this team as well. How is it at all a situation where you look so ill-prepared and then the in-game adjustments, not challenging plays? Every week there's something with Nick Sirianni that just begs the question as to why is he here and how did he fool anybody above him to give him this job? Jonathan Gannon looks like he was just added into this whole scenario here. Why, I happen to know him from the old job. Go ahead. Just go ahead. Pile in anybody that I've worked with at Indy. Mind-boggling, maddening right now. And again, it's not that they've lost. It's not. It's that they look lost. You understand the difference? This football team is an absolute disaster. 2 wins. I don't even know how. Carolina has got their own troubles, mind you, and Atlanta just wasn't ready to start the season. But 10 days, and this is what you give me? Jalen Hurts was awful against the Raiders. The defense was atrocious against the Raiders. The head coach, the defensive coordinator, everybody. This, again, I feel like we've had a couple of these. If this isn't at least the second, it's the third, where it's, oh my goodness, everything went wrong. Everything. I don't even care about special teams. Who cares at this point? The game was lost after the first quarter, where no defensive adjustments were made ahead of time. And all of a sudden, this Raiders offense that, due to circumstance, they turned the ball over deep in the Eagles' territory. And I don't know, maybe there was a belief that that was something that the Eagles earned as opposed to circumstance, but no adjustments whatsoever. This game was, if anything, a reflection of how easy it is to pass on the Eagles defense, something that we thought maybe wasn't as difficult. And also, over 100 yards, again, we're in this spot once again. Also, how you can get 100 yards in the ground, even if it's combined, no matter what. This Eagles defense looks lost. Miles Sanders finally gets the football. He gets hurt. Where to begin with a collective failure? A comedy of errors, if you will. But unfortunately, it's our comedy, and we're stuck with all these errors. This game is a reflection in Vegas of just what this Eagles team can be at its worst. Who cares about next year? I'm focused on Detroit. I don't think they can beat Detroit. And why would you? Why would you think that? Raiders are a good football team, don't get me wrong, but what they've done now 2 straight weeks is beat bad teams. This was humiliating, to say the least. Watching this football game was atrocious from the start. And here's the thing. You start calling for people's jobs. You start getting itchy. You start wanting the backup. We're 7 weeks in. 7, that's it. We're not even halfway through this long season, and people have already had it. And I'll give you the biggest reason why coming up with the 3 big takeaways. But understand something. Fans right now have had it. And it has nothing to do, enough with the T-shirts, the mantras, all this other crap. It has nothing to do with any of that. It doesn't even have to do with losing the game. It just has to do with how lost they look while they come out so flat, or how lost they look when they fail to adjust. It's a long season, but I say that as a negative. Oh, there's a lot of football left to be played. Oof. Just hit the fast forward button. G-Cobb joining us again, Fox 29, gcobb.com, of course. And Gary, I hate to bring you on under these circumstances here, but I wanted to get your look. I don't know what the hell to say anymore about this team. All I want is hope, right? Like, all I want is the hope, not that you can even win a football game, but that you could just show up prepared and act like you know what's going on in the game. When you look at this team as a whole, what's their biggest problem right now?
Well, I really think that, the last few games, they've really been blown out. I mean, it's looked better because they come back late because the other team starts playing a real relaxed defense and everything. But really, on both sides of the ball, you can't really be that impressed either way because the quarterbacks are having unbelievable success against the Eagles. And, you know, you can't just play simple zones. You can't play like that. You got to play man in the zone. If somebody's in your zone, you get close to them. Because while they're in your zone, you've got them. Then you pass them on to another guy. And it's the way you play basketball defense is kind of a man in the zone. Really is something that John Caney, he mastered. Where when the guy's in your zone, you got him. So you got to close in on him. You don't just run to an area. No, you got to be able to read different things the team is doing. So you got to be able to recognize what they're trying to do on each play. You know, sometimes they will send multiple guys in a zone. Well, that means somebody's got to help that guy, see? But you got to have an idea. So you need smart players. And some of this is understandable if you're putting in a new defense and guys are getting used to it. So some of that you understand, but you got to understand it's man in the zone because if you just run to a certain area, the quarterbacks and receivers are too good. They're just going to complete passes. You're running to your area. So, that's an inept in the teaching. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
And the guys just aren't playing it well enough. Now, occasionally you see a guy like on the interception. If you're close to a guy, it makes the quarterback's job harder because you're throwing that hand in there and you're going to get some balls that are tipped and things happen like that. But you got to be close. You cannot be where you just run to an area and you're just playing a zone like a robot. No, you've got to be able to, they're sending two guys. I got to go help this guy over here. You got to be able to recognize things. And the other thing you want to do is you want to hold up guys as they're running their routes. The guy's near you, hit him if he's in the 5-yard area. Delay his release because you're helping somebody else. Because then he's going to be off time when he gets to a certain area. So it messes up their design. But the thing you've got to do is you got to communicate. It's like playing basketball on defense. You're playing a zone, but it's not a pure zone. It's a man within the zone because the quarterbacks are too good. If you just play a simple zone, you're just going to stand there and watch guys catch the ball and they march down the field. And, I understand that, the whole mentality, we're going to make them work down the field. We're not going to give up the big play. Yeah, you do that. But if you watch the good teams that do this, they don't play just a pure zone. They play man in the zone. They're talking all the time. Hey, JoJo, he's coming your way. He comes, whatever. You have codes. You tell them, hey, before the thing, okay, you know what they like to run out of this? Because teams only do 5 or 6 things out of a formation. But you got to know what they do, and then you recognize it. Just like basketball, the play they're running, and you got to adapt to it. You can't just play like you're just out there, automaton, just guarding a certain area. You got to be smarter than that. You got to communicate So you got to have that. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, you know, that first drive looked like an offense.
Yeah, amazing, right?
They hand the ball off.
What
You know, the
happened
guys
after that?
blocking. Come on. And then that sets up other things with you know, and the touchdown. They knew, hey, Gainwell was going to be one-on-one on this guy. He runs an angle route inside, gets open, boom. That's NFL football. But you got to have something else. There got to be other things you're doing. So it's really frustrating watching them. But I will give them credit on the first drive.
Well, that's I think the most frustrating part about the offense, Nick Sirianni and the offense, and we'll talk about Jalen specifically in a second, G, but the offense, I feel like they can't get it right. You know, they either look terrible in like they come out of the gate like they haven't even practiced all week, or they're in a situation like we just saw where, wow, you had a great game plan from Saturday to Sunday or from Monday to Saturday, right? But then all of a sudden, after that first quarter, the offense disappears. They can't put together a full game, and I don't know if they will this year. They look really disheveled, if I can use that term.
Well, you know, now that's coaching. That's where they've got to get a system in where, hey, there's certain things that we do. So once they adjust to the first thing, then we do the other parts of our offense. And you know, you've got to have design to where, okay, if they do this, then we're going to do this. So, you know, this is going on through the whole game. Okay, they're taking away A. Okay, so now we're going to B. Okay, when they take away B, we'll go to C. When they do that, we might go back to A. But you're doing this, you're communicating. You see other teams, that's what they're doing. Okay, all right. Okay, so we know the tight end's going to be open on this. Okay, we know that we're going to be able to run. We can run this running play, and the coach is going, okay, all right, okay, so we can run that off tackle play. All right, we know we got that. So we'll put that now. We need a couple yards. We know we can go back to that. You're talking, and this is the way good teams are talking. You're doing it offensively. You're doing it defensively, and you know, they're trying to get to that, but you know, you've got to have guys where. Again, unfortunately, you know, I don't want to pin everything on the linebackers because, you know, the line really didn't get there. You didn't hear from those guys.
Nope.
And that was not a good offensive line.
No.
So that's troubling. And what it says also is defensively, we can't just let them just go down the field like that. No, I'm sorry. They got to play tighter on those. They got to be tighter on their defense. And, you know, you can't just run to an area. You got to take away the guy while he's in your area. And you got to know, hey, if you just stay a couple yards away from him, he's throwing the ball to him. Come on.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
It's like I said, it's like playing basketball where you got to talk when a guy comes through your zone. Joe, he's coming to you, you know. Yeah. Ralph, okay? You know, like before the play, you see good defense, they're talking because they're telling, hey, he's getting ready to run a corner. They run a corner out of this. He's running that corner. So you're telling the guy, you're talking. And sometimes, you know, the Eagles have said, well, it seems like they know the play. Yeah, they're studying the tape.
Right.
That's part of NFL. If you come out in a certain formation, you do three things out of it. They got to know these are the three things they do out of that. And that's the intelligent football. And that's what, if you want to play winning football, you got to have that part of it, you know. And I'm sorry with these guys. I'm going to go look at the tape. Hey, when you got a guy in your area, you got that guy.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Go get on him. So you can other teams are doing it. Don't they see the other teams do that?
Yeah.
Somebody's in the area. They're trying to close down on that guy because that's what the game is. And the quarterbacks are too good. If you just play a straight zone, okay, I got the curl. Okay, I got the curl route. Well, the guy's not going to run the curl right where you're standing. He's going to run it a couple yards away from you. You got to find out where he is, and you got to get over there. That's part of it. Come on, man. It's not that hard. You know?
You're right.
And
Gee, I'm
no,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, last one for you, and I'm just curious your thoughts here. How bad is it right now for Jalen Hurts throwing the football, just in general as a quarterback now? And again, I ask you this question, all encompassing, knowing that it's not all his fault, that there are people around him and above him that are probably not doing him any favors. But in your opinion, how bad is it right now for Jalen Hurts?
Well, I mean, every game pretty much, Jalen has missed people. There are guys open, he's missed them. And when you got a chance for a big play, you got to put it in there. He's got to know that. I mean, this is NFL level football. When there's a guy in your, when you got an opportunity, you got to put that ball in there. That's part of playing in the NFL. You got to be able to be accurate with your throws. I mean, he makes some, he misses others. You got to make more of them. I mean, look at Carr.
Yeah.
Look at Carr. How many did he miss?
3.
That's big time quarterbacking.
Yeah.
That's why those are the guys we give the money to. You know what I mean? This is it. This is, and it's really not that complicated. But he's got to be accurate. And that accuracy is something he's got to be able to do. And you can't say that you're a marquee quarterback. I mean, like, for instance, like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has gotten better.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's gotten much better with his throws. But, as a runner, of course, there's nobody near him. I mean, Jalen is not what he is as a runner. He's just, how fast is he? He's like a 4.3, make people miss, and he still has to throw the ball in order to be the kind of quarterback he wants to be. He's got to be able to make the throws. And so that's where Jalen is. And, that's what it is. And they've got to evaluate him. And ultimately, they're going to say, well, can he make the throws we need to be a championship quarterback? That's ultimately what it's going to be, how he's going to be judged. And I imagine he's working on it, but he's got to improve. I mean, we can see that because most of the game, no offense. I mean, so on third down, we got a guy open. We got to hit that guy. Everybody's done their job. This guy's open. You got to put that ball on him. I did like what I saw out of Dallas Goedert. You see?
Yeah, that's true.
Dallas is a player, man.
Right.
Dallas is he's a big time player, and he can do some things. And so there are a lot of things you can do with them. I mean, I like Richard Rodgers. I think they can put him in. They can do some things with their tight ends. And Devontae had a tough day today. Devontae, hey, big fella. Hey, this is not Alabama.
Right.
Hey, if the ball hits your hands, you got to catch it, man.
Yep.
It's not that complicated.
That's
and
right.
Jalen, if we have people open, you got to get it to them. And that's the NFL. And I'm sure he knows that, and the other guys know that. Hey, maybe they missed a block here or there. You got to make that block. And so you want to see progress. Now we saw progress on that first drive, but they didn't do anything till the game was over. After that,
Once
the game
again,
it's 30-7.
Yep.
This game is over.
Exactly.
Okay?
And once again, they sneak back in. Come on.
So now you want to start, with the little, this. No, I don't want to. That's not real. No. They loosen up on you, and then you're doing some things offensively. No, you got to do it when the game is in doubt. That's
Absolutely.
what winning football is, and we'll find out. They'll go and look at the tape and everything, but I think we can clearly see where this team is. They're not there yet. They're not good enough yet, and everybody has a hand in that. The coach, the quarterback, the receivers. Devontae had a tough day today. Hey, Devontae, he knows he's got to make those catches. So, we got to go back. We got to look each other in the face, and we got to get better. Now, you see that Nick Sirianni changed some things.
Right.
Because he ran the ball. He turned and hurt, a running play. They did some of that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because teams were taking away the RPOs. They had different things they were doing to take away the RPOs. You had the defensive end slanting in, taking it back. The linebackers scraping around, taking the quarterback and getting in the lane of the throw. and they were taken away from the RPOs. So then you have to say, okay, well, we're just going to run the ball on you guys, regular runs and regular drop back passes. We're going to be able to do some rollouts, different things we're going to be able to do. And they did that on that first drive, and that was a plus. And maybe they could just look at that all week. But you know you got to do better than that, though.
Absolutely.
You got to do better. This team's got to get much better. And the thing about it is so ironic. You look at their schedule, it's so pathetic. If they were any good,
just
they
a
would
little
have a shot
bit.
to try to make the playoffs.
I know
it's ridiculous to say that.
But you're right.
You look at how bad some of the teams they're playing. Come on.
No.
You got Detroit now. This Detroit game is going to be a tough game because they know this is one of their chances to win.
Right. Exactly right. That's what the Eagles have become, is a team that a winless squad now thinks, hold on, we can get something here by all means. Fox 29, G-Cobb.com. Gary, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
My pleasure, and got to get better.
That's it. All right, 3 big takeaways from this Eagles debacle. First and foremost, I want to start here, not with Hurts, not with Sirianni, not with the defense, but with something that I think is going to be used moving forward, at least has been already, and it happened once again against the Raiders, but I want to just dispel this myth right away. There was no comeback. There was no comeback against the Bucs. There is no comeback in this Philadelphia Eagles team. There's no fight in this Philadelphia Eagles team. Just, we don't see it. We don't have it. Instead, it's defenses being a little soft, pulling back just a little bit, recognizing that this Eagles team is just not good and that they don't need to keep applying a ton of pressure when you're already up by multiple scores. And that's what we've seen on both sides of it. And really, it's under-discussed when the Eagles' opponent has the football more so than anything else. Raiders up big, 30-7 at one point. That offense is taking its foot off the heels. Here's another thing, too, involved in all of this. Derek Carr never got sloppy. Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs, who gets hurt, then Jacobs out, Drake in, never got sloppy. The Raiders offense continued methodically, but continued like a machine in order to just close this game out. No risks, no ridiculous belligerent decisions when you're up by that much, allowing a team back in. There was enough of a cushion where it just simply didn't matter. And that's the biggest takeaway. The score may tell you a different story, but don't get caught in scoreboard, box score, any of that watching. The reality is, this takeaway here, number one, there is no fight. There is zero fight right now with this Eagles team. They just happen to get lucky off of circumstance. Soft defenses, soft offenses, magically they're back in a football game. Take one, key one, I ain't buying it. Here's the second takeaway. Second biggest key right now is Philadelphia Eagles have a quarterback problem with accuracy. Jalen Hurts is not accurate and not accurate enough. Now, the fallout of this is I don't know if the people around him, both people on the field and the coaching staff, are good enough to improve his accuracy. And yeah, it's easy to say, well, if you put Jamar, no. If you put Devontae Smith on another team, this guy is neck and neck with Chase and anybody else, young wide receiver running down the field. Unfortunately, what we have is a major problem with accuracy and nothing being done by the head coach or the offense to improve it. Continued pressure and stress on the RPO, continued decision-making, just hand it over to Jalen Hurts. It's brutal to watch this again and again, each and every game. And to see Jalen Hurts 236 and the 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he's a fantasy machine. Don't get me wrong. But in real life, falling short significantly, 18 of 34 all over the place. Lucky that he didn't turn the ball over, at least from a throwing standpoint. We know what happened with the fumble. Dallas Goedert, I guess, one of the lone bright spots. Devontae Smith targeted 9 times, but it just didn't feel like there was anything there 5 grabs, 60 yards. The takeaway is Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and anybody else on this team not getting the true benefit, maximized ability of Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts is an inaccurate quarterback right now in the NFL. Can that change? Can it get better? Absolutely. If Josh Allen can get better, then anybody can get better. But, and this goes back to this second takeaway here, it's got to the point right now, 7 weeks into the season, where Jalen Hurts can no longer outplay his accuracy, where his accuracy is a problem to the point where it's holding him as a quarterback back and the team back. And that's truly it. And now the third key is week after week, I feel like it's rotation here to see who has the biggest claim to being in over their head. I don't know what more or what ceiling Jonathan Gannon has, but here's my question, and I want to get ahead of this. And this is something that I took away, my third takeaway here when it comes to this brutal loss to the Raiders. What's Jonathan Gannon's ceiling? Seriously, when you look at him trying to figure this thing out, when you look at him attempting to sift through what a game plan is and then adjustments to follow, what exactly is his ceiling here? Because I don't necessarily see a guy that you would want to give power and control to in order to build his defense. Jim Schwartz got that. Boy, Jim Schwartz, Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz, just looking across the board of so many people that got out and got out at the right time. This is a major level of dysfunction. And it's unfortunate, isn't it? But it's a reality where this organization, the Philadelphia Eagles, have nothing left right now but to just hope that they can manifest something, just give you something with these draft picks to come up. But my point being, the takeaway being, once again, we find Jonathan Gannon in over his head. And once again, we find ourselves asking, questioning just exactly what we're going to get from a ceiling of a defensive coordinator who clearly doesn't have his own players, maybe can't run his own scheme. But what does that even mean? Seriously, own scheme? What does that even mean? 3 takeaways from an absolutely brutal loss to the Vegas Raiders.